is indeed the special, the Q&A for 1,000 subscribers. I've got myself a Domino's pizza over here, Texas barbecue because I'm unoriginal, and I've also bought some chicken as well. Thought we'd mix it up a little bit today. Some sauces that have come along with them, and I'll be obviously eating this food and doing the Q&A. I got a good bunch of questions. I've gone through it, I'm pretty sure I've got every single one of them. If I missed you, I apologise, let me know in the comments. Oh, that is hot. Oh my god, there's a red hot sauce and it is hot. Yeah, so basically, that's kind of all there is to it. There'll be some questions that I'm going to try and answer. I'm praying that there's not going to be any sound upstairs, because the last time I did the Q&A, I had to sort of all the drilling. Got myself an iron brew. I've got it all set up like a randomizer for the questions, but let's just do it. So I'm going to start by getting into the Q&A right off the bat. So we're going to roll for the first question. Obviously there might be something where I look a little bit out of sync. That's because I've got the turner up in it. So the first question is, interesting. Stuart Kendrick has asked, if you could only have one fast food for the rest of your life, what would it be? That was a very recent one as well. One fast food for the rest of your life. That is a good question. It's hard to say. Is that like specific food places? Like, is that takeaway, fast food, or such? So I think I'll answer it doubly so. So if it was any kind of like takeaway for the rest of my life, probably Indian, I would say. Because the thing is, like, I love pizza, but it's it's just the same meal. Whereas with Indian, there's such a variety. There's such a variety in the food. So that's what that would be, Indian. If it weren't takeout and it was just like fast food, like McDonald's, Burger King. I think honestly the first thing that comes to mind, and one thing I would say most likely, would be probably a Taco Bell. I just really love Taco Bell. For whatever reason it might be. Texas barbecue on a thin and crispy base. So that's my answer to that question. Either Indian for takeaway or Taco Bell for fast food. Because again, there's at least some decent variety. But things like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, as great as some of them are, it's kind of like burgers or nothing, right? The rest of your life. I guess that's my take on that. That was a good question though. So we're going to move on to the next one, see what the next question will be. And this, by the way, is garlic and herb dip. And I got some wings. It came with this. It's a red hot dip. So some of these questions have been asked multiple times, or there's like different wordings, but it's the same question. So I put some of them together. So this is a question that was asked in different ways by Jason Murray, Jacob, and Tessa. I think that's how you say the name, or Thesa. What is some of your favourite music to listen to? It's a good question. I recently started making a playlist of like anime intros. I can't lie. I was reading on the train the other day. I didn't want just instrumental, but I also didn't want to be distracted by lyrics. So songs in another language are really great. So I just listened to that. listen to in general. I mean, rock and metal, like that sort of thing, like Bring Me the Horizon, Asking Alexandria, Nirvana, Foo Fighters, that sort of vein. If someone were to ask me what my favourite music is, that's the answer I would give. But I also listen to like musicals. So it's really hard. I think it depends on what I'm feeling in the day, you know. When I'm writing or reading, sometimes I like video game soundtracks. So, yeah, I guess that would be my answer to that. Probably rock and metal is the traditional answer. Hope you enjoyed the answer to that question. I hope that answered it. Alright, moving on to the next one. Drinking a little sip of brew here. Okay. So we've got a question here from is4444. The question is, what's your favourite type of ASMR to listen to yourself? An excellent question. So my favourite ASMR to listen to really does depend. It's very dependent on the mood at the time. If I'm feeling hungry, I will not listen to food. Yeah, I would say anything kind of like a lot of mouth sounds. Like, I guess I make the stuff that I like to listen to. So anything I make generally is something that you could imagine I would listen to. That's my favourite ASMR. I really don't like the hand movement ones, or like brushing the mic, or like the ones where they're like licking ears. No, that's not for me. That's not for me. I don't really like that. I don't also, I guess it depends, but like I'm not a big fan of like the binaural one, like one side to the other, where it pans. It only depends. Like there's, what's his name? I've actually made a list because there's a question about this, but I'm going to do another video talking about my like ASMR artists in general. But I'm going to mention someone now, which would be Binaural Eats ASMR. I like his binaural stuff. One ear to the other bit. He's very like I don't know. It's hard to describe. I also don't have a preference between like isolated ASMR, which is where like there's no background sound. So like hi-fi and lo-fi. I don't have a difference between that, or a preference. I'm not really bothered. But I do kind of like listen to both, but it's really dependent. Some nights I'll just want to listen to like a calm ramble. Sometimes I'll be like, when I do housework, I might listen to like a calm ramble or a role play. But then at night it might be like watching a word search, and eating food or whatever it might be. It really does depend. Like yeah, I think I've got a very wide range of things that I listen to, but generally speaking, I don't really get the same sort of like ASMR from the brushing and stuff. It's not to say that actually that never happens. There have been some rare occasions where I've gone, oh, actually, do you know what, that sounds really good, but I just can't get into it. And I particularly don't like sharp noises, things like what I would call like crinkling of like packets and stuff like just like, it's like a natural response. I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. That really gets under my skin. But there you go. I hope that answers that. In short, I like what I make. I don't think I've ever made anything that I don't listen to myself. Maybe the page turning ones, I don't generally listen to that. But, depends. Next question will be, okay. Oh. Andrew Duck asks, are there any video ideas that you really want to do? Yeah, there are. Quite a range of variety, I would say. Obviously, I make what I make right now, but I really want to do more like review ones, like sit down reviews. Basically, just a ramble. It's not that big of an idea, I guess. But like watch a movie, review it, that sort of thing. But I guess that's more like just topics for rambling. You may have noticed I started doing a bit of roleplay. I don't do a lot of it. I've only done like a couple. But I do want to do more of that. One idea that I really want to do is, you know, like the page turning videos that I do. I want to do a video in that format, top down, like explaining bits of D&D. I actually got a request about doing a video trying to explain D&D to someone. The idea I have in mind is separate to that. No, that's obviously on my list of things to do. But my idea is to do one particularly things like combat, like just explaining the rules, giving an example of combat. I'd like to do more like food places. I want to do a Wagamama video. Some other fast food places that I haven't done before. I do like some reviews on the food there, what I think about it and such. What other ideas? I want to do more D&D related content, and stuff like that. Whether it be like reading through a book or like showing bits of the book and leaving reviews for certain modules, etc. That's one thing I want to do. I want to do more of like the creepypasta stuff, like the scary stories. I love doing that. Oh, more sweet videos. I want to do more of those, like proper candy videos. Different types of candy in the same video, but also sort of adjacent to that would be like if you remember I did American Sweets video, you should go check that out if you haven't seen it, but I did a video trying American candy, and I would like to do that with like Japanese candy and other national and cultural treats, so that is definitely on the list as well. I'm just waiting for a little bit of moolah before I do that, because your boy's on a tight little sketch right now in terms of money, so there's that. Talking of that, less sweets, more dice related, but I used to have like a monthly subscription to something called Cricket, which is a great UK brand of buying dice. So if you haven't heard of them, go check them out, Cricket UK. But I used to get dice monthly, and I'd love to get back into doing that, like pay for the subscription again and just review some of the dice actually got a list of ideas I'm looking at right now. Wow, did I really never write that down? Damn, I've got one down here on my list. Recently is Boy and the Heron review. That was ages ago. Wow. Guess I never did that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So there we go. I never did that. But yeah, most of it's like doing things that I review, like as topics, I guess. Other video ideas. Other kind of eating. More variety in places. And I'd like to do more videos with Katie. I know that I do. Like, I upload fairly regularly with her in the videos, but I'd like to do some more with her. And such other video types. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'd like to do more role plays. I've been enjoying doing them. So more of those. Other than that, I don't think so. Like, I've got lots of ideas, but like, I feel like when you say like any video ideas you really want to do, it's kind of like something that isn't like topics. It's like different ideas for a video, like doing like the mechanical fixing you sort of thing. I don't know, maybe that isn't a good example, but like POV videos, which I don't mind. I do. That's, I guess, falls into the category of roleplay. But yeah, I want to do more of those because I love watching Slipped Into Shadow ASMR, who does them all the time, and they're some of my favourite videos because he has such like great characters. I think that's probably, if I were to give a final succinct answer on that, it would be roleplays, doing more of them, and coming up with some like recurring characters. I think the Bad GM is one that will come up. I don't know if that video is actually released yet. So it might be, but if it isn't, then as a taster, there's a video roleplay of a Bad GM, then the game shop worker and other things like that. But I would like to like try and give them distinct personalities and stuff like that. So I guess maybe that sort of thing. I would love to do book reading and like do some ASMR voice acting. That's an idea, but they're hard. Those ones are hard. Alright, gonna move on to the next question now. Hopefully you're happy with those. Pardon me, happy with those answers. Oh, okay. Now obviously some people have asked multiple, so people might come up a few times here. But before we get to the question, I'm going to show you this little wing that I've got. It's not bad. Nicer than last time, I think. So, this is a really interesting question. Now I hope I say your name right here. Admic1138 has asked, how would people you know well describe your character? By which I assume you mean me as a person versus my D&D character. Good question. An interesting one, that. I do like questions that I have to make you think from another perspective. Look, I know I'm not cleaning that bone, but we move. I'm not a big fan of wings. I'm doing this for you lot. So, how would I describe my character? I guess it depends who you ask. I would say, if I wanted to like start generic, I would say like maybe funny. Maybe. I don't know. Talking about yourself is so hard, right? Being able to go, oh, this is what people would say about me. Feels arrogant, big-headed. So maybe I should start with the term humble. Maybe they would say that I'm humble, or whatever. Like, there's another term for it. To be like, not full of yourself. Just moving this pizza around so you can see that there is some left. Yeah, I would say that's probably one thing that people would describe me as. I would like to think loyal, sincere, maybe. Creative probably is a word that would get used. I would say. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess I don't have to use just words, right? Just how they would describe my character. I would say those sort of terms I've just used, but also probably that I am very self-doubting, very hard on myself, and maybe vulnerable, both in maybe a positive and a negative light. A bit like being vulnerable in the sense of being open and honest with people, allowing vulnerability and people to be vulnerable in return, but also being very kind of on the edge of just like, all it takes is one thing and like the spiral of depression spins onwards. So I think those are some things that people would say about me. That's hard. I feel like full of myself just stop talking about it. That is a hard one. I'll be honest, that was a good question though. So thank you very much for that one. Let's move on to the next. Oh, that bit of the pizza did not taste good. Alright. Erica asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Another interesting question where I have to think about something. So thanks for that. I would say it's hard for anyone to ever know for certain, but I would estimate, where do I see myself? I see myself probably married by that point. Well, I would hope, at that point, 5 years onwards, that would be kind of crazy. I guess everyone moves at their own pace, but to me, 5 years of it being engaged is a very long time. Anywho, so probably married, probably children. In 5 years, probably at least one, maybe two. But honestly, who knows? I don't imagine we'll be living here. I think we'll move somewhere else. And honestly, this last election in the UK has actually kind of solidified my feeling on this, which is we want to move to Brighton to raise our children, not stay here. So I don't get political on this channel, namely because I do it everywhere else and I just can't be fucked to do it on here. Now, unless you hate entire demographics of people, when it comes to being on here, I leave that shit at the door. Unless, your politics are disgraceful. At that point, it's like, you know, I don't entertain it. But irregardless, where we live right now is exceptionally conservative, and I don't like that. And there is a lot of bigotry here, a lot of bigotry. So I don't really want to raise children here. I don't want them to grow up around that. And I've always just felt like Brighton is very kind of open and free. And yeah, I guess that's why. But yeah, I want to probably move there at that point. So 5 years, probably moved, probably children, probably married. I'd like to see 5 years. Maybe we'll be at 10,000 subscribers. Who knows? I don't know how the increase goes, but like if it was 1,000 every year, we might be at 5. I don't know how long it takes. Different channels go at different paces, right? So you know, if it's the same way that we have been, then it'll probably be just over 5,000, or something like that. I don't know. It could slow. It could speed up. I don't know. Maybe I won't even be making videos anymore. I'd like to think I still will. I imagine probably not at the same pace that I do now. I think at some point it will slow down, but I would like to keep going and doing a video a day, every day, as long as I can, just until it's not possible anymore. But I've got a good sort of like routine marked out, but I think it will be children that would change that. The moment I have a kid, I think it would change, because you just don't have the same time. But yeah, you know, it's just not quite so plausible to do that. But we'll see. It might be alright. So there you go. That's what I would say. In terms of work, I'd like to think that I'm making a lot more money with that. I'd like to be doing some voice acting at that point, like doing more work outside of my D&D, and you know, get back into doing some performing, you know, whether that be live theatre or other work. But yeah, that's what I would say. So let's move on to the next question, which comes from was that the last? I think that might be. Was it Erica that just asked the last question? I need to check who asked that question. Yeah, it was. So, second question from Erica. How do you cope with depression if you've ever been through it? Excellent question. I'd love you to tell me. Well, I mean, sometimes you don't cope with it. I would say that people around you being very supportive and understanding, if you surround yourself with people that also suffer from those things, they tend to understand more so than people that don't. It's not always 100% true. In reality, actually, in the last few years, last year and a half, I've learned that the people that don't have it actually have been more supportive of me than the people that did, that I surrounded myself, that I called my best friends. And yeah, there was let's just call it an incident, so to speak. And yeah, I did not receive the support I thought I would, and it did open my eyes a lot. So I would say sometimes it's just about I mean, different things for different people, right? And this question is about me. How do I cope with it? I would say similar thing. Some days there are just times where I'm just like, oh my fucking god, nah, not for me. But other days I cope with it in other ways. Sometimes that's by playing games, watching TV, something that kind of takes you out from a current reality and puts you in another. Sometimes it's, going for a walk, getting out of the house. I know for some people, exercise works. I did feel a little better about myself when I was going to the gym, which is one of the reasons that I want to, get back into doing it. But yeah, I would say that's probably my answer there. Like, sometimes you don't, and the ways in which I have coped have been by looking to other things to help distract me when I'm in that place. But ultimately, really, the only thing that can really help you is dealing with the issue, such as things like therapy or medication. Works for some people, it doesn't work for others. But you should, if you are suffering yourself, you should definitely, at the very least, like, talk to someone, try to like talk to some kind of therapy. It might take you different therapists, different organisations before you find someone that works for you. There's lots of different techniques, different ways in which therapy exists, so it's not a catch-all term. It's like saying, taking antibiotics for being ill, right? That's just it's an umbrella term. There are plenty of different kinds of antibiotics, or a vaccine, like getting vaccinated. There's not one vaccine for everything. They're all different things. And the same is with therapy. There's different types of therapy that work at different things for different needs. So I would say that's probably the best way to cope if you are, if you're asking that question to kind of like test to see if there's any sort of things that other people use to help. I would say that is the one thing that is like most successful. But otherwise, trying to like self-evaluation has been something very useful for me. Being able to be a realist and look at situations, look at my life, and go like, okay, I feel like shit right now. I feel depressed, but like, let me allow myself to look from another perspective. But yeah, I think that's probably my answer. I don't know if that's a very helpful answer. But yeah, I think the honest one is that sometimes you don't cope with it. Other times you do cope better by using other things. And for me, that does typically take the form of like playing games. Mostly, I would say, or watching something, spending time with loved ones. Sometimes helps, like just being in the same room as someone that you love can really shift your perception or help you feel better. But ultimately, the best way to cope is through like actual mental health services. Alright, I hope that answered your question. I know it wasn't a great answer, but it's an answer nonetheless. And we very close, or very nearly had another Erica question there, but we've got a question from Stuart Kendrick once again, which is, if you could only drink one type of beer, i.e. Pilsner / pale ale, what would it be? A good question. I think, if I'm honest, it's probably Pilsner. Or, yeah, it would be, Pilsner, lager, yeah, probably that. I much prefer that to many other things. Close second though is New England IPA. I really do love a New England IPA. What's going on with the squeak in my voice? It's like a little mouse is trying to escape out my throat. I'm going to eat some food because I haven't eaten in like 5-10 minutes. Oh, I did not see the big fat bone at the end there. Yeah, Pilsner is probably the simple answer there. usually pick that up if I'm picking up a specific type of drink, but beer Moretti I love as well. But yeah, if it's just like the type of beer, probably Pilsner, and then New England IPA. I don't like dark or red beers, or red ales. Anything that's like super like malty or like caramel, I don't like. That is something I've learned over the course of doing those drink review videos. Hope that answers that question. Brewdog, Hazy J Night, New England IPA. If I was going to because I mentioned some specific brands for the other one, that would be my answer. So yeah, Pilsner probably. Even though all of those videos have basically been ales, but that's because I really want to try and like ale, and I actually do like some. There have been some pale ales I've gone like, that's really nice, but if I'm ever given the option, I just don't see myself in a very, unless it was a New England IPA, I don't see myself drinking it over that. But your question specifically was about why I would drink for the rest of my life, right? If I could only drink one, I can't see your question when it is. Yeah, if you could only drink one type, it would be a Pilsner. It would be a Pilsner. Even though, now I think about it, I'm admitted to drinking basically the same flavour beer the whole time, but there we go. I'll take there. All lagers taste very, very similar. Next question is from KT. 3 guesses who that might be. What's your favourite video to film with your partner? Excellent question. Honestly, any video. I love any video that I do with her, to be honest. I like drilling in the background. Hopefully it will stop. To be a bit more specific, give an actual answer. The ramen ones, oh my god. Katie makes unreal ramen. Honestly, and so those videos are my favourite probably because I get to eat this delicious ramen and we get to film it. So definitely the ramen ones, though I do like the drink reviews that we do. But honestly, yeah, it's the ramen videos easily. Quite a succinct question, that one. Let's see what the next one is. Still got quite a few left, I can't lie. Might have to do some quick answers. We have Stuart Kendrick again with, if you could only eat one protein, chicken, fish, beef, etc., what would it be? Fish. It's not even a question. I don't like animal meat, which I know is weird given that I'm eating chicken, pork. Yeah. I was wondering what the other meat was on the thing, but it's chicken. Chicken and pig right now. But generally speaking, I don't really fuck with it. Especially chicken. I love me a steak, but like, if you think too much about it, it makes me feel ill. Fish, I feel like I can distance myself from a little bit more, and it's it doesn't look like muscle. It looks like just as like flaky stuff. I guess it depends on the kind of fish you get though, right? But yeah, like I had a swordfish steak when I went on holiday. last year. Oh my god, it was stunning. And so I would say most likely it would be fish, really. It definitely isn't chicken, I'll tell you that. Yeah. But realistically, it's any meat. But that was a pretty simple answer to your question there. Another fairly easy question here. We've got one from OK then 93. What do you work as? Good question. I've mentioned it in previous videos in the past, but may not have seen those, or not, just maybe just not caught it. So, I work as a game master. What does that mean, you ask? Well, I run Dungeons and Dragons online, generally Dungeons and Dragons, other things as well. But basically, I run games for people online. I do that nearly every day. In fact, normally I'd be having a game not long after recording this, but that's basically my job. So I'm self-employed, and I run my games online. I do offer some in-person services, but it's not utilised really at all. It's all online. But yeah, I do that through a website called Start Playing Games. So if you've ever wanted to play in a game online, go check that website out. You can search by time, by like game system, etc. It's probably the best one out there. It also for GMs, if you're wanting to run games online, it's a good way to get players. And they have like a built-in system where you get paid. So so it's basically freelancing, self-employment, and they promote your website. They do take a commission off of the games that you charge, for running costs and such. But yeah, it's a good trade-off, because I make a living off of that, and I wouldn't have been able to without that website. I certainly didn't beforehand. It was very, very hard to find work before then, but then I went on there, and honestly, almost overnight, just got so many games. It was crazy. It was crazy. So that is basically what I do. I run those games online nearly every day, and it's just like muscle memory at this point. I run some games multiple times, so sometimes I'm running the same thing with multiple groups, and it's just like, this is easy. It sounds horrible. It sounds like kind of arrogant, but like it can, if you do it often enough, it's a skill that you learn and you just get better at. So yeah, worth checking that out on there. And for those of you that want to find games on there but are worried about playing online and stuff, well, the GMs get reviews, and now they've added like a star system, so you can see how well GMs are reviewed on there. So you can always check in to see if it's worth it. And again, that is Start Playing Games. That wasn't an ad or anything, but that's where I run my games. Alright, we've got another and me one here. And Mick and Mike. Which part of filming and editing an ASMR video do you enjoy / the least? I'll enjoy the most / the least, and why? Good question. Filming and editing, well, the thing I enjoy the most is eating the food when I do a food video. And chatting to people, like being able to talk. I do a lot of talking in my excuse for the food is the best bit. The least. My least favourite bit is having to go through and edit out the bits I don't want in. Like, if there's like a loud burp or something really gross that I just think, oh, that cannot be in there. Or if it's like, so for example, if someone knocks at the door, like it's a delivery or something, then obviously I have to cut that out. But in order to cut that out, I have to make a loud noise into the microphone so that I can see the peak on the software, because I edit through Premiere Pro. I actually don't, but that's the other thing. That's probably my least favourite. But yeah, so I have to go through. But sometimes I get worried that I might miss something. So like I'll leave a loud noise in or whatever it might be. So my least favourite thing is going through that when I know that a video's got it in, and even more so on top of that is if I don't remind myself. So basically when I make the file, when I rename the file after I finish it, recording, if there's something wrong with it, I might name it like, I don't know, like drill in the background or something like that at the end. But sometimes something will happen and I won't edit it in, and I won't know when I'm editing, and I'll forget that had something in there, because I generally record throughout the week on different days and then edit on one day. So especially if it has happened earlier in the week, I will just forget about it. And you know, there've been times where I've nearly missed something and gone, oh my god. And that's one of the more stressful things that I don't enjoy. The other thing I don't enjoy is paying for fucking Premiere Pro. It's so fucking expensive. I pay out £50 a month for Premiere Pro, because I use it for those, like for Premiere Pro and Photoshop for the thumbnails as well, and I use it for work. I was just very fatty. Honestly, this is not great. I can't lie. I don't really like wings. I'll be honest. Not fucking with the wings. Maybe they need the sauce on them to make it taste like something as well. But yeah, that's my least and most favourite thing. Here we go, here's a big one. Oh, this is the weird one. I can't believe I've not had any of your questions yet. Anyway, so we had one from now I'm gonna try and pronounce the name right here. Hotruby. If you had to choose one, what food or drink would you bathe in? You said weird. Further detail, because why not? You have to stay in the food or drink for 7 minutes, 36 seconds and 42 milliseconds. Well, first of all, it'd be impressive if you can figure out to keep measuring the millisecond to the time, like to the dot. But my answer to that is water. Hey, you didn't say I couldn't pick water. You just said a food or drink, and water is a drink. Got some right here. So my answer is water. Next question. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Of course, I'm not going to cop out that easy. Come on now. What do you think I am? Mother didn't raise. No. Whatever the word is. So, this is a hard question. Oh, this pizza's cold now. It's been, I mean, in all fairness, it's been nearly an hour recording. Oh god, that's all falling apart. My answer to that question is, I'm not sure. Food or drink? What would I bathe in? because it's got that thick like texture. Would it be like? Would you be stuck in there? I don't think you'd be able to leave. Milk, I've heard, is good. Like historically, people bathed in milk in periods of time. I recall, I believe, I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure. It's giving me like Cleopatra vibes. Is that a thing? I'm gonna search that up now. I want to know if that's a thing. Indeed. The Egyptians, in particular Queen Cleopatra, were famously known to bathe in sour milk to improve the look and texture of the skin. So do you know what? I would say probably milk. Milk would be my answer there, because it might improve the texture and something of the skin. The quality of my skin, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's a good answer. If you want to get like weird with it, like properly weird. Any food or drink? Man. Bath full of Smarties. Maltesers would be... No, actually, no, not the Maltesers. They would melt and that'd be gross. Get chocolate all over you. Any food or drink? Yeah, I think I'll stick with the milk. I'll stick with the milk. I don't feel original. I don't feel creative for saying that. My third runner-up is honey, though. I'd love to see what that would be like. I might die in there, but there you go. There's my answer. I thought I'd have a better answer for that, but that's what came to mind. At least I didn't cop out with water. Alright. We've got one from Leisurely Gaming in 4391, and a similar question was asked, so I've added these together, from Banjo, which is, what is your favourite type of ASMR video to do? Gaming, mukbang, renting, etc. Do you know what? I actually don't know. I don't know the answer to that, because I like each of them for different things. I like the gaming one because I can just game and enjoy. I'm having fun, like playing a game, but I'm also making a video. I like the mukbang because it gives me an excuse to order food like this for occasions. I enjoy eating. I like the rambling ones because I just get to ramble. What is my favourite though? My favourite one to do. I mean, it's hard not to say gaming because, you know, that's a big passion of mine. And I like to play games and I like to record them. But I don't know. I don't know if that is like the right answer though. If that's the answer that I feel is right. I think it's probably the rambling ones. I've just enjoyed doing that. I enjoy rambling, enjoy chatting shit, talking about various topics, chewing gum and eating food or whatever it might be. A proper ramble video would be that, I would say. It also just helps me vent out thoughts. So probably that. That would be that's my answer to the favourite. Let's see the next one. This video is going to be well over an hour long, but that's okay, it's a special. I think it's going to be... Ooh, who is it? Wow, that was very close on the line there. But it is another Anmic. I hope I'm saying the name right, you might have to let me know if I said it wrong. Another Anmic question, which is, what is your favourite belonging / thing that you own? That is a really hard question. That is a really hard question. Favourite thing that these questions, but anything I've thought of has just gone straight out my head. Well, my natural instinct is to say my partner, but I don't own her. You know, that's typically frowned upon these days, so, you know, I wouldn't say that really applies, but, I mean, that feels like, that's the thing, that is what belonging / own, but if I were to, like, position it from, like, yeah, I don't know, whatever, like, you could describe it in a different way and it would work, but that's not what the question is. Is what I'm trying to say. So, that answer not being applicable, favourite thing to own. Would it be D&D related, I wonder? The closest thing I could think of would be my PS5. I know that sounds just so materialistic, but like, it brings me a lot of joy. It helps me, like, you know, the question earlier on with depression. It you know, gives me something to do for me. It is. There's multiple reasons for my answer here. First of all, I love gaming. It's a passion I enjoy. So it brings me joy through experiencing a passion. Second, it's a gift that was given to me. I didn't actually purchase it. It was actually a Christmas present from Katie, which absolutely blew my mind when I got it. So secondly, because it's a gift from her, and it's something that, like, I had, like, been working towards getting myself in, and then, you know, there were some financial things that stopped me from being able to do that. It was like an amazing gift that felt like it has an emotional thing attributed to it. I would say thirdly, it gives me the opportunity to, like, distance myself from, if I'm feeling like shit, I get in it, I play in a game, and I just vibe, and it distances me from those feelings. Four, it's a social thing. I get to, like, speak with friends and we get to play games together, because you know, otherwise, like, when I wouldn't talk to anyone, I don't jump on FaceTimes or calls, and, like, gaming is one of the things that, like, keeps you really social, especially if you're playing games with people. So maybe it is the PS5 for those reasons. I'm trying to think if that's, like, I mean, what was it? It was a favourite thing that you own, right? Yeah. The only other thing I could think of would be when I was born, I got like a cuddly toy, I guess. Like a cuddly toy. There's not really any way to describe it. Of Humpty Dumpty, basically. And over the years, it, like, waned away bit by bit. I still have it somewhere, but, like, it's an old, like, withered toy at this point. But, like, that's something I've had with me. Like, no, I have not owned anything else as long as I have owned that. I had that since the day I was born, and, you know, I'm 28 now, and I still have it somewhere. I think it's, like, with a collection of, like, other, because I've, like, maybe it would even be this. Do you know what? I feel like the more I talk, the more I actually start thinking it's actually something else. I do think the PS5 is a good contender for the other reasons that I gave, but I also have a box of memories, like a memory box. I have things in there from, like, cards from special occasions outs, newspaper clip outs, photos of like grandparents and family. So and I think it might be in there. So I wouldn't even say it's the toy, but the box of memories. I actually think now. I can't believe I didn't think of that beforehand. That's why we follow a train of thought. So the PS5 is definitely a close second because of what it represents. But yeah, this memory box is the most important thing I own, like the most, my favourite thing, the most important thing to me. And actually, if I like, and I think the way that we could certainly figure that out is if someone were to say to me, I'm going to take one of these two items, which one are you going to keep? Without a second thought, it would be the box of memories. It wouldn't be the PS5. So I think that really says it all. Yeah, I think that says it all. Because if it was that or D&D books, I would go, well, I'll keep the PS5. I'll just buy more D&D books. I can buy the book again. If it were my whole collection, though, probably the PS5 because it's worth more. Because the books are worth more. All of my D&D collection books, I won't forget the other RPGs, are probably worth more than a PS5. That shit is expensive. So, if you're looking to get into D&D, make sure you have that cash dollar, especially now. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, that's my favourite thing that I own. My box of memories. Took a while to get there, but that is my final answer. Lock it in. I went from like materialistic to something more emotional, but there we go. Alright. This is another joint question, because there were two very similar, which was from Joby and Erica once again. And the question is, what/who got you into ASMR and why did you decide to make your own channel? So they were very similar questions from both of them. So who got me into ASMR? So here's the thing. I think I have talked about this a bit in my last Q&A. But it was never a case of someone getting me into it, like theoretically. I have always experienced ASMR, as far as I can remember. Like, I have a very, like, I really struggle with sounds. Like, I'm the sort of person that will pick up on the very subtle sound, like of a buzzing in a room, or the sound of something kind of scraping outside. Currently I can hear a drop of water hitting the side and it's actually driving me insane. But, you know, you kind of learn to deal with it as much as you can. So for ages I've always had like a thing with sounds, but as much as like some things really annoyed me, there were other things that just gave me a very like, that made me feel very relaxed and like gave me like a physical response. And they would be the kind of sounds you would expect other people would be annoyed by. And the first like real instance I can like actively go in hindsight, oh, that makes sense now, is when I was in primary school. So when I was like, I don't know, what, you know, for the American viewers here, I would have been about below the ages of 10. So like probably 7, 8, probably those ages, give about there or thereabouts. And I used to eat packed lunch outside with other kids. I know this sounds really weird in hindsight, but like, if anyone's gonna understand, you guys are, right? But there was this one kid who always ate with his mouth open, and everyone else thought it was disgusting, and I was like, it never bothered me. It never bothered me at all. And like, there was a social element where like, if someone were to say, I would probably be like, oh yeah, it's a bit gross, isn't it? But ultimately, I didn't find it gross. And like, when he would eat, it would be like very, like, he would make the sounds, and I never really was able to like put pieces together, obviously at the time, because why would I? But I realised that there was part of me that was like, I enjoy eating with him because the way in which he eats, it sounds so weird to say out loud. People are going to think I'm so weird for that, maybe, I don't know. But like, it was really interesting because that was the first time I think I can in hindsight say that must have been ASMR. I must have felt relaxed eating with him because of the sounds, and like, the best way I can describe it, sometimes you get like the shivers. That's like how I experience ASMR sometimes. You kind of get like a shiver down the back, and like it's a real sort of like visceral sensation, and I used to get that, and I didn't really understand why. I only knew that I enjoyed eating with him when everyone else hated it. So the reason I bring that up is because of the question being like, what got you into ASMR? I don't think anything got me into ASMR in the sense of like enjoying the sounds. It's always been there, but in terms of videos, I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't even know ASMR existed until probably 2017 odd. And at the time I was single, and Katie's gonna hate hearing this. I bet Katie's watching this video. I'm so sorry, but this is the truth. I was like kind of seeing someone at the time, like very, very, very early on. But like we would have these kind of interesting conversations, and like I don't know why, like how it got brought up, because again it was very, very early days. She mentioned to me about ASMR, that she watched ASMR. I was like, what is that? And she would go like, it's like people that make like certain sounds, and I like watching people eat food. But like she had a really specific thing where it wasn't just like eating food, it was like shoveling it in. It had to be like, and she said to me like, nothing else will do it for me. That sounds a little bit weird to say out loud. Not in that sort of way, but nothing else like gives her ASMR unless it is like shoveling the food in, sort of like, ASMR Bro does it. There's I don't remember, I don't remember the guy's name, but he always has like a bowl of cheese. He wears gloves. He's got like a black background. That sort of like shovel the food in. It's got to be like an overwhelming amount in the mouth, and I don't really like that. Really at all. I would say ASMR Bro is like the closest I would get before being like, no, okay, I'm not any more than that. And there are even some ASMR Bros videos where I'm like, that's just not for me. But that's fine. Everyone has their own thing. Anyway, so she sent me videos. I was like, this is a bit much, but actually, like, this is quite relaxing, weirdly. And we started talking and about it, and I obviously started searching other videos of less like that. And I think it might have been, maybe it wasn't, but it might have been ASMR the Jew as the first video. Now I had seen her video before, and I recognised her because I'd seen the pickle video. Everyone, I think, has seen the pickle video, right? I had seen that without knowing what ASMR was, and at the time I was like, that's just such like a weird thing for someone to do as a video to eat. Like, why would you do that? And then, I started listening to videos later on in my life and went, okay, I get it, I kind of get it now. So I started listening to them. I'm not 100% sure it was her. I know I started listening to Ephemeral Rift about the same time as well, and a few others that were around back then. But I can't think of who it would be. But anyway, I started watching that, and I'd like sent her some stuff and been like, I think I like this, but I don't like what you like. This is the sort of thing that's when she was like, yeah, I don't like, it needs to be like shovel in. And we kind of laughed about it a little bit at the time, you know. But like, I think for her it was nice to be able to have a conversation with someone that she was interested in, that didn't judge her or make her feel weird about it. And honestly, you know, I'm glad I found out that way with someone that I could talk to about it and not on my own, because I think I would have really struggled to think about how weird it was. But like now I don't even think about it like that. I mean, it's so common now, like even now compared to like the late teens, shall we say. Like the scope of it is very different. I feel like so many people know about it or watch it and watch different types. Although I still do think like the eating ones, the mouth sound ones, like chewing and eating, typically do get a lot of bad rap. But not as much as like the ear licking community. and those more kind of like sexualized ones. I don't watch any of that stuff. I don't like that at all. Like I've seen stuff where people have got like done videos where it's like boyfriend or girlfriend, whichever it will be, whispering to you as you sleep, and it's like, I don't know, that just feels like very, very, I mean it works for different people. I would judge someone for listening to it, but for me it would feel like borderline like cheating. I don't know, maybe not. I would feel weird about doing it, even if I was single, if I'm honest. But yeah, so no, I wouldn't say that anyone specifically got me into the feeling of ASMR, but or like it'd already been there, but this person had got me into watching ASMR. It didn't last very long. I think we saw each other like 3 or 4 times and that was it. But you know, I cannot deny that they opened my eyes to a whole world of ASMR, which I am obviously very thankful for, because yeah, it's really helped me over the years. But yeah, that's who I guess got me into ASMR, so to speak. And then probably the ASMR the Chew would have been the first. I think I can't recall if that's the case or not, but there you go, there's an answer to that question. As you can tell, I'm fairly full up from eating, so I don't know how much more I'll eat. We'll see. But let's go for the next question. We've still got quite a few left. We're already pushing well over an hour. So the next question is from Erica, which is something you want to get good at, your hobbies. Good question. I would like to get good at probably playing the piano. We've got like a keyboard in our flat, as well as about 4 different guitars. I used to play both of those instruments, and I did piano lessons, but I would like to get better at doing that. I'd like to maybe do that a little bit more, play the piano a bit more, maybe do the guitar, because I enjoy music and I enjoyed playing music back in the day, but I just never get around to it anymore. I just don't ever have the urge to go and do it, but I would like to get back into it. Hobbies, that is a great question. Playing video games would be my hobby, because I guess someone else might say, oh, like D&D would be a hobby, but for me it's my work. I don't do it as a hobby anymore. It's my job. So my hobby is my job, I guess. So the only alternative is video games. Is the only other thing I do with my time. If I'm not doing this, I guess this is kind of like a hobby. In that sense. So this, playing video games, other hobbies. I try to read every now and then, but I haven't like really sat down and read a good book in a while. I don't do any other hobbies. Wow, my life is boring. Yeah, I don't do anything else. I watch TV. Amdram, like amateur dramatics, but I haven't done that in a while, unfortunately. So yeah, that I would like to get back into. So maybe it's less of like something to get good at, more to get back into. I'd like to get back into doing some like Amdram stuff because I love theatre. I love acting. Sometimes I just want to get back into doing it. Something I want to get better at in general. Maybe like I'd like to get better at taking care of my fucking self is what I'd like to get better at. I'd like to be back at the gym. I'd like to eat better, plan my meals, and just not be a little piece of shit, really. I feel like I'm just kind of like slowly decaying in some areas, and yeah. Today was an exception because I was buying this, so I didn't eat breakfast because I wanted to have an open stomach because I knew I was going to get the pizza, I was going to get that, and I'm still full. It's also quite sickly, pizza's like a bit gummy, whatever word you want to use, not gummy, but like it's greasy, it's a bit fatty, it's not easy to just eat. At least I don't think so. But anyway, that's what I would say. I know one thing I'd really like to get good at is Elden Ring. I still haven't bought it, and I refuse to buy it because unless it was like super cheap, like £10, I'm not getting Elden Ring. But I want to get it. I want to get it so bad, but I can't bring myself to pay like more than £15 for a game that I know I'm going to play for like 2-3 hours, suck at and go, why the fuck did I buy this? So those sort of games I'd like to get good at so I can buy them. That's a good answer. Talking of like Souls-like games, because it's not really Souls-like, but Souls-inspired or vice versa really, is you're going to have to look forward to the new Monster Hunter game next year. Is it next year? It was the year after. Don't remember. But when that comes out, I'm going to do a lot of videos on Monster Hunter, so be prepared. Alright, more questions. How many do we have left? Quite a few. I'm going to try and get through these quite quickly, because otherwise it's going to go on for years. Angie Duck /Win 5533 have asked a couple of questions here. This is an extended one, which is, what's your top 5 games, TV series and anime? Okay, well I've got a point of contention here. Would you count Last Airbender as an anime or not? Because that would be an important difference. I think people are going to say no, but I mean technically it's no, but like, come on, it's kind of yes, but like, I get it, it's no. So, top 5 games. Do I have to put it? I'm not going to put them in an order, because if I have to put them in an order, I'm going to struggle to do this. Top 5 games of all time Monster Hunter World, for me personally. Do you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Helldivers 2. I truly believe that is up there. That will forever stay with me as one of my favourite games. So those two. Top 5 games. For me, I think Skyrim's got to be up there. Oh, this is hard. That's 3. Oh man, this is really difficult. Because I think there's more than 5, but Baldur's Gate 3. And probably The Last of Us. And I'm growing up. City Skylines, Planet Zoo, all of them are games that I love. City Skylines, I have so many hours in, so I feel like it should be on that list. But the hours shouldn't dictate the game, right? Because I'm never going to have as many hours in Last of Us. But that was just an experience to play. But I want to say the same of things like God of War, of Mass Effect. What was a game that I played recently? Yeah, I would want to put Spider-Man up there as well. But yeah, I guess. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 has to be in there. Monster Hunter World 3, what? Monster Hunter World has to be up there. Nail Divers, I have to put it in there. If I were to say what was a better game, but like it is so good. I feel like just because it's old and been so like rehashed, like I don't want to say Skyrim, but like Skyrim is a great game. It is still a great game. You can still play that now and enjoy it. Oh, they're all so good on their own volition. I'll drop Skyrim in there. And yeah, we'll go Last of Us. I'll go with the list. I'll go with my original list. I think they are probably my top 5 games if I had to pick and say like what do I think were the best games I've ever played, or the games that like stood out the most to me, probably them. And putting Outliers up there is big. But I do not know another game that I've just fallen in love with that quick and spent that much time in and wanting to constantly play it. So that was games. There were TV shows and anime TV shows, TV series. I'm gonna include Last Bender in here, like not the Netflix one, obviously. Last Airbender is obviously in there. I'm gonna count that because otherwise it's gonna choke up anime. That probably Star Trek Voyager. That was my first ever Star Trek series, and I love that series to bits. I know like people hate on it all the time. There's like a mean thing just to shit on Janeway, but like that is my favourite series. None of the others ever compared to it for me, but Deep Space Nine was a very, very close second. You know, not to say that the other series aren't good, but like for me, that was just something else. So Voyager, and I'm only going to pick one Star Trek. Maybe I could just say Star Trek. Yeah, I think I'll just say Star Trek. But if I had to pick, it would be Voyager. But I do like them. I love them. I don't just like, I love them all. Well, save for some. But we won't go into that here. What other TV series are there? What have I watched? I haven't watched TV in so long I can't think. Top 5 series. I don't know what I'm looking over here. I'm looking over here to see if I can get given an answer. Bro, that is hard. What did I say? Last Airbender, Star Trek, and did I pick a third one? Did I miss one there? I'm trying to see if there was would I count any of the Star Wars ones as being my favourites? Honestly, I don't know if I put any of them in my top 5 of all time. The Office. Oh, how could I possibly forget? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm going to drop The Office for a second. I might add that in the end. But It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia easily is one of my favourites of all time. The amount of times I've watched that show from beginning to end, all the way through. What else? Other TV It's been such long, nothing that seems memorable to me. My mind is blanking on TV series. Breaking Bad, probably. Breaking Bad. I really wish I could put Game of Thrones in there, but the last few seasons, I just can't bring myself to do it. I'm trying to think what else had like a chokehold on me. There's got to be something that I was obsessed with. I enjoyed Dexter, but I wouldn't put it up on the list. Top 5. I just feel like there's nothing that really comes to mind that I would consider memorable, so I'm just going to go with The Office. Guarantee you the moment this video finishes I'm going to think of something, but there we go, that's how it always is. And finally, 5 animes. This one I think is going to be a little bit quicker. I'm going to go with, there's a lot, so it's hard actually now I think about it. One Punch Man, Dragon Ball, and I'm including all of Dragon Ball in there, I think that's fair to say. One Punch Man, Dragon Ball, Death Note, it's got to be in there. I feel like all the standard ones I'm going to put there, which is going to be Bleach. I loved Bleach, man. That shit had a chokehold on me in school. I can't lie. That thing, that and Death Note, right around the neck. And then one more. Honestly, I think it's gonna be Slime. That time I got reincarnated into a slime. Yep. That's gonna be my list. There we go. So that's my top 5. Alright. Excellent question, thank you for that one. Next one is going to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this for nearly 2 hours, that's crazy. Stuart Kendrick again, countries you would like to visit, countries you have visited. Visited, yeah, I did this one in the last one I think. So I have been to, a fair handful of countries, to be honest. I've been to Italy, France, the Netherlands. I have been to Orlando, Florida. The typical, all of these like tourist holidays really. Where else? I went to Tenerife with Katie a few years ago. Not just a few, quite a few years ago. What else? Been to France a few times, I think I said France already. Yeah, I think they're the ones that come to mind anyway. Where would I want to visit? Well, I would love to go to Japan. Kate and I have debated what we want to do with honeymoon, and obviously, money permitting, what we would love to do is do a few days in like a really busy place, like a city, like go to Japan, maybe go a few places in Japan, and then fly somewhere else for like a relaxed holiday. And so, I bring that up because it plays into one of the places I want to visit, which is Japan. Not a specific place in Japan, lots of places in Japan. I just think it's got such a beautiful countryside, and the cities are fun and cultural to explore, or they're fun to explore with the culture, and yeah, it's just such a varied country with so many places to see. Like if you go all the way north, I think it's Hokkaido, right? It's the north. If I recall, I might be wrong there. The very, very cold regions that I would love to go to and see there. sorry, apologies, Netherlands. I'd like to go to one of the Scandinavian countries like Norway or Finland. I really like those countries. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're slightly more like left-leaning in some ways than here, but maybe that's just my politics coming to mind. But anyway, I do like those countries, so that's definitely one place I'd like to visit. And I certainly wouldn't mind moving somewhere like that, if I'm completely honest. I think with my hair and my, the beginnings of a beard, I think I'd fit in there, right? I could get away being, of that descent, right? I mean, actually, in all fairness, my family are from the Midlands, which has a lot of sort of Danish roots. So, who knows? Maybe if I did, I should do one of those ancestry things, so I can go and call myself Danish. I'm sure they would love to hear that. I'm sure. Anyway, so moving swiftly on there. That is my answer to that question. Somewhere there, some places I've been, some places that I would like to go, but again, all of them have really been sort of like holiday destinations. At least from like when I was old enough to remember. Florida was nice, but like it was just theme parks. It was just theme parks. You could have gone to any country. You'd never know it was really America because there was no it was just tourism. But there you go. Oh, what's your dream vacation? By Jacob is the next question. Well, I kind of just answered that, I guess. It would be, my dream vacation would be an extended holiday, as I can imagine many would be. But rather than be in one place for all of the time, I would like to go, do you know, I'm split between what I mentioned for like the honeymoon, which is go to like Japan, go to a city in some more urban areas, and then go to like a resort somewhere else. But actually, my dream vacation would be to journey around Japan. I don't know why, but that is just what I would love to do. I think I've watched a lot of Abroad in Japan, and seeing his like journey across Japan videos, I just look at it and go, man, I want to do that. I want to drive across Japan, like go like be in some of the cities, but then go to other locations, whether it be public transport or driving. Like, well, it would have to be public transport and then drive from there, I'd imagine, depending on where you go. But like, spend a big chunk of time just journeying through Japan, going from big city to like areas, maybe spend a couple of days in a city. Even then, you don't really get to fully explore it. So I think my dream vacation would be like a bunch of time in Japan, going across the whole country from the countryside to the more urban areas. That's my dream. That's probably my dream vacation. We still got some more questions coming through with them. I need to drink. My throat's getting dry. Another conjoined question here by Angie Duck and by the CG. Thank you, by the sea. Another little shout out to you for the for getting Jeff to do my to do a shout out for shouting out my channel. So yeah, but yeah, this is two very similar questions, so I've combined them, which is, what other ASMR channels do you watch / like? So I knew this question was coming up. I have got a list that I plan on doing a video on, just like talk like as a ramble, just talking about ASMR artists. So rather than go through that whole list right now, I'm gonna like name a few that I know are ones I either watch frequently now or have watched frequently in the past. So I already mentioned a couple today, which are ASMR the Pro and binaural eats ASMR. Mentioned a couple of those. But other ASMR artists that I watch, I would say on a fairly regular basis, would be Jeff Music Man ASMR. That's one of the big ones. You've probably heard of him. this oh my gosh, milestone. But yeah, here's Jeff Music Man here, ASMR. I've been watching a lot of RLS ASMR. It's got a few more hundred subscribers than myself. Actually don't know what he's on right now. It might be closer to 2k. I'm not sure. Last time I checked, I think it was about 1800. My ASMR addiction. I love her stuff. I used to watch a lot of the Wordle ones. I don't really watch that much anymore, but I like just like some of her rambly, chatty ones. I just really love the accent, to be honest. I also mentioned Ephemeral Rift, who I watch like religiously. I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of his content anymore. Only because it's very, very isolated, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood for that. But he is great, and I love his channel. He's so creative. He is probably the most creative I've seen. He's very much up there. Man behind the camera. I just love him. He's so cute. He's just such a nice little guy. He just, you know, he's one of those people that you just want to go and give a big hug. And in the same vein, Morpheus, ASMR, or just Morpheus really. One of the big ones I watched for ages, and I just can't believe how much his channel exploded, because I was like a subscriber of his. I think I might have been within the 40s, like 41 or something like that. It might have even been less than that, but I'm not sure. Is ASMR with Marcus, and now he has like 14k. Do you know what I realised? I think I didn't answer a question earlier on, which was like, and what made you want to start the channel? So actually I can like circle this background. So there are some of the ASMRs that I watch, and I've also got in there Jack ASMR, who is another British ASMR artist, who makes videos every now and then, but like they're really good. And you know, he's on 1,000 and something subs. I can't recall off the top of my head. So go and check him out if you haven't heard of him. He is sometimes in the comments as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure I thought he had a question on here. Hold on. I haven't missed him off, have I? I think he might have just congratulated me. Jack, if you ask a question and I don't, and I didn't answer it, then I apologise. Yeah, so they're just a few people. I've got some other ones that I listen to as well. But as I said, I want to do a proper video, like sitting down and going through all the ASMR artists that I watch, because I think it'd be good to like shout out other people of similar like subscriber counts, and people that have less than me that I watch. Like, I think it's good to give back. I know that I don't have like 40k views like Jeff does to shout out little old me, but you know, I think if I see someone that I watch a lot of, why would I not want to shout them out and be like, hey, everyone, I watch this person, you should go and watch them as well. It's like, it's not really a competition, you know. So I'm very much like that kind of person that wants to shout people out and just not have an issue with it, unless the content is, you know, bigoted or something like that, or if the person's not very nice, then I obviously would not. But anyway, I digress. I was getting onto a point, which was what made me do the channel. So to circle back to that question, I wanted to make a channel a while ago actually. I just never got around to it. And I actually started having the seed for wanting to make a channel probably back in 2021 or 22, whenever it was, when I started watching ASMR with Marcus, because he was an upcoming channel at that time, and I was looking at it like, oh, he started off slow, and I've watched him, well, not slow, but I started off with no subscribers obviously, and then grown, and watching it and going this. Like, he's obviously enjoying it. I enjoy watching it. Maybe I should do this. And then I moved into a house share, and I just wanted to keep doing it, but I never really like found the space to do it. And I don't know. It was like, what if someone walks in? At that time, my partner didn't know that I never openly was like, oh, I listen to ASMR. Right, it was kind of something where I put a YouTube video on, but it was on the site she probably knew for a while, I'm not sure, but I always felt awkward talking about it to Katie, and then when she found out, I started feeling less awkward about it, and then when we moved out of that house share, I felt more comfortable doing it, and so at that point, I started thinking about starting a channel. I didn't do it for a few months, but yeah, I wanted to start it for a while, and then I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was, I saw another channel, again a similar subscriber count to me now. It was Kiko ASMR. She does like gaming, like solely it's gaming. I saw her doing that. I'd been watching Great Ape ASMR who does solitaire videos as well, and thinking, oh, I might do a solitaire channel. And I saw like Jack ASMR, and I'd been watching certainly Jack for a while, but like it wasn't until that point where I went, do you know what, I feel like I can do this. I feel like I want to make a channel. And at first I went, I don't want it to be my face like what we're doing now. It was, I'm going to do solitaire videos, hands only. And I struggled with the first setup doing solitaire, which was one of my first videos. And my first video, when I opened my channel, opened it, I put up 10 videos all at once, but the solitaire was the first one I ever recorded, I'm pretty sure, and I really struggled with it, and I went, I don't know if I can do this, but then I thought, well, I've got a webcam, obviously because I was recording it, I thought, do you know what, fuck it, I'll just do a video talking like this. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I did it, loved doing it, and well, from there it went on. So really that's all there is to it. I wanted to do it for a while. It wasn't until I felt comfortable doing it that I started setting up the channel, and now we're here, nearly a year later with 1,000 subs, and it's crazy to think that. So yeah, that's why I wanted to start the channel, because I enjoy it. Well, that's how I got around to doing it, what inspired me. But why did I want to do it? I like making ASMR, I like doing it, it feels good, it's enjoyable, it's a project, and I have fun doing it, that's why, really. It's definitely not for the money, because there's no money in YouTube anymore. not substantially, not unless you make you've got hundreds of thousands. It's not plausible. So it's definitely not for the money, and I'll be honest with you, I recently got the monetization thing, and I've been looking at the tax shit, and it's such a ball ache. I have to do a fucking Irish tax form, because Google have an offshore headquarters, totally not for tax, I shouldn't really say anything, probably should not keep that bit in. Anyway, the Irish tax form is a ball ache to go through, it's definitely not for the money, because at the moment nothing is going to be coming my way, even with the ads on, so enjoy that. I'm going to just check to see no one has done any last minute questions whilst I'm recording, just in case we still have some left. No, we're all good. Alright. So the next question is from Stuart Kendrick, favourite albums of all time. Great question. That is a good question. I think Sempiternal by Bring Me the Horizon is probably my favourite album of all time, purely because every song on it I think is a banger. I love listening to it. I can listen to any of the songs and just thoroughly enjoy it. I don't know if I would say the same of many other albums. Nevermind by Nirvana is certainly up there. Maybe one more. What was that Ask Alexandria one? I'm trying to remember the name. I think it was it Restless and Relentless? That might have been the song. I think that might have been it. That might be the song. Yeah, that's the album. But it might also be the song. Yeah. Oh, Reckless and Relentless is the other way. I love that they're called English rock band. Definitely metal, but do people count them the same? Who knows? Yeah, probably those are three of my favourite albums of all time. Kind of generic, I can't lie, but that is probably that. I'm trying to think. There's one from Mumford and Sons. I don't remember which one it is. It's the one with the cave in it, but I don't remember. I don't remember the name of the album. I'm terrible at remembering album names, I'll be honest. Which one is it? Oh, I just want to see the albums. Okay, well, I don't know. Don't know which one it is. It's the one with the cave in it and white black page and all that. I do like a bit of Mumford and Sons and folk. Well, my throat's so sore right now. Next question. We're almost at the end here. About 5 questions left, I think. Yeah, 5 questions. We've got and Mick again. Again, hopefully saying your name right. Is there a type of person that you usually have difficulties to deal with / that really make you angry? Oh my god. Yes. I can't lie. I'm watching Love Island right now, and that type of person is all over there. Anyone that lies, like I mean, I know that sounds so like generic to say, but like anyone who is just a compulsive liar, I can't fucking deal with. Like, what's the point? Like, why bother? So anyone that compulsively lies, no point holding conversation with. What else? Really arrogant, narcissistic people. People that think the sun shines out their arse, that they're the best thing. People that are two-faced, that will say one thing to you but then say another thing to someone else, that talk behind your back. There's a difference between, expressing issues you have with someone versus like chatting shit around their back, especially if you wouldn't say it to their face. I feel like I try my best not to be like that. There have definitely been times in the past where I have been like that, I've been that person, and it's just like not okay, and it's just not worth it. Like, if you have an issue with someone, fucking tell them. And I feel like now I do my utmost to never say something to someone else that I wouldn't say to that person, and do say to them if I have the opportunity. So for example, if they're like I can't be asked to think of an example if I'm honest, but yeah, those sorts of people, people that talk over others, that just have no interest in listening but only being heard. I can't be fucked to deal with them. People that blackmail you, try to bully you. I did a video a while back about issues with players who, like, in my games who've like made moves or like said or done really bad things in games, and you know those sort of players that I guess want to force your hand a little bit. I don't fuck with people like that. Who else? People that play the victim. People that play the victim and they're not the victim. You know. Yeah. I was trying to think if there was a way to expand on that, but I don't really know how else to. There's a difference between genuinely being a victim of something, and then like being a victim, and in particular someone. Oh, this one is a little close to home, but like someone who does something objectively bad, and then when someone else does something not nearly to the extreme of that, who then treats that other person like a villain, or like dives on that person. So, for example, if someone, I don't know, if someone committed like thousands and thousands of like tax fraud, and then someone else like pickpockets, or not pickpockets, someone like what's the word I'm looking for? Like shoplifts a chocolate bar from a shop, or something like that, and they go like they get on their high horse, when it's like, well, you hold on a fucking sec, you can't say anything, you can't say shit, and people like that who then, and that I think kind of bleeds into narcissism. I don't think that was a great analogy or a great way to explain it, but basically, yeah, I know people and have experienced people that that do truly awful things, and then expect no one to kind of like bring that up about them, but if someone else did something that is not nearly as bad as that by any extent of the imagination, then yeah. Anyway, I'll move off that one because otherwise I'm gonna hate it. Over that question. But it was a good question. There's lots of folk I can't be asked to deal with. People that walk slow on the sidewalk. What about that? Is that a good one? Alright, next question. Alright, I think it's another Anvic one. Which achievement in your life are you the most proud of? Well, I actually did have a little bit of a think about this one. And what I thought about was, I would say, probably getting 1,000 subs is a big achievement. I don't know if it would be the thing I'm most proud of, not because I don't think it's a big achievement, but like in reality, you know, the amount of effort I've had to put into doing the ASMR. I mean, granted, it's been a lot of effort, but no any of the blood, sweat, and stress and tears that my work has. So I'd say my biggest achievement would be becoming self-employed and being able to self-sustain on it. It's a struggle every now and then, especially when I miss games. People are sick. If I'm sick, if something goes wrong, if a player leaves, if there's stress involved, if something happens, you know, all manner of different issues. Despite all of that, you know, and the stress that can bring, and the fact that it's not always perfect, the fact that I am able to call that my job and be self-employed is probably my biggest achievement. What else? I'd say making it past 27 for a long time. You know, for a very, very long time, I was very, very depressed. Very, very depressed. And I always used to joke, like, fuck it, I'm going to join the 27 club. And if you know what that is, then you know what that is a reference to. I'm not going to expand on here on YouTube because, you know, I like to keep my channel strike-free and keep this video up. But that was definitely something that was a consistent joke / non-joke. But, you know, I made it to 28, so I made it past that age, and for me, biggest achievement, and honestly that is probably up there, just like being alive, still being here is a big achievement to me. But also the 1,000 subs, that's a pretty good one. Maybe if we hit 10,000, then I'll say it's my biggest achievement. But yeah, I think that's a good one. We've got 3 questions left. We're going to be getting over the 2-hour mark here, that's crazy. I've been sat here for 2 hours doing this video. I'm going to give my voice a rest after this. Favourite movies of all time? Oh, that's a hard one. Favourite movies? Well, I love the original sort of Marvel movies. Kind of fell off some of them, but I do like the Spider-Man 2, like the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movies, and Far From Home, or not Far From Home, sorry, No Way Home, because of, nostalgia reasons, but that's purely why. Lord of the Rings trilogy, absolutely adore. It's fantasy. There's your answer. Back to the Future, great movie. Great movie. Maybe I'll do a video like just talking about my favourite movies at some point. That might be a good one, or just some like big movies that I really like, and talk a little bit about it, or them. But Back to the Future, other movies. I'm trying to think what I said in my last video. I don't really remember. I think I said Harvey was my favourite movie, but it was also Spider-Man 2. So Harvey was an old movie with James Stewart, and I just loved the movie. I really just loved the movie. I don't know what about it was that I liked, but that whole movie was about a guy that has like what everyone believes is like an imaginary friend, a giant rabbit called Harvey. And the whole movie, like, James Stewart plays this guy that is talking to Harvey, but you never see him, and everyone else is having to interact. I'd be like they all think he's just kind of going crazy, but at the end of the movie, like, you see that Harvey is actually real. I think I can't even remember it, but it's like an old black and white James Stewart movie. Very good film. The Rope is a good movie. I think it's just called Rope. Is a good film, which is a Alfred Hitchcock movie with James Stewart in it as well. Is entirely one take. Well, one take. It's obviously got 1 or 2 cuts in it, but it is generally a one-take movie. All about these 2 students that committed murder and think they've committed the perfect murder and got away with it. And they do a joke, sort of a party. I want to say a joke party, like joke is probably not the right word. But like they hold like a party for people and invite like this investigator and policeman to the wedding. What did I just say? To the wedding? Oh my gosh, my brain is beginning to fry after all this talking. Invite them to the party, and the body of the person they murdered is in a trunk in the middle of the room that's being used as like a coffee table, and like it's a very weird film, but great. So that's a good one to mention. Yeah, they're some of my favourite movies of all time. I'm sure there are many others that I just can't think of right now that are my favourite movies. I feel like I need to sit down to really go through that and talk about movies that I do think are my favourite. I also love the film Ender's Game and the book, but like for some reason, I don't know, it's not really a standout movie, if I'm honest. Like it's not like a groundbreaking film, and yet for some reason I really enjoy it, and I feel like I can just rewatch that movie constantly, and it's the exact same with Maze Runner. I love that film. I don't know what it is about it, but I know the story. But I could watch that film, that series of films, over and over and over again and never get bored. I just love that film. I don't know why. I think I just love the cast. But yeah, there's an answer to that. I can hear some sound starting, some horns, and people shouting, so I'm going to move quickly through these last two questions. Okay. So we've got Hutch Obi, or Hutch Obi, with the second to last question, which is, what's your favourite story-based game? Have you played Subnautica? I have not played Subnautica. I did buy it a while ago. Must have been, I don't even know how long, maybe 7-8 years. Probably longer than that, actually, now I think about it. I bought Subnautica on Steam, downloaded it, and it just did not work on my laptop at the time. It was completely black screen, so I refunded it. However, I have watched a playthrough of it. I don't know whose playthrough it was, if I'm honest, but I watched a full playthrough of Subnautica. And, yeah, I watched through that the whole way through. I've not watched the DLC, I think it's a DLC, or the Sub-Zero, which is its own game, right? Maybe there isn't a DLC. Anyway, I watched it when, I don't remember if the full story had been released, because it was still being released. So I don't really know if I've watched the whole way through of it or not, but I remember watching a playthrough of it. I do want to play it myself, though. I do want to get it and play it myself. Because I think it's a really interesting premise of a game. There are so many of those sort of survival horror games out there, but Subnautica has such a rich, unique premise. So I do want to do that. I'd love to do that and do an ASMR series on it. So if you think you would be interested in that, let me know in the comments. And if any of you want to buy me the game, I'm joking. That was a joke. I mean, if you offer, that's fine. But that was a joke. Just to clarify. Gosh, that was a terrible. I shouldn't have said that. Really. Now, everyone's gonna think I'm asking for money. But you know, at the end of the day, like, if people want a very specific kind of video or content, you can make offers. That's okay, I guess. But like, I don't think anyone should feel obligated to do it anyway. I digress. So yeah, I haven't played Subnautica. I've watched it, but I do want to play it. Question mark whether or not we will play it as part of the channel or not. But Subnautica aside, the first part of the question, my favourite story-based game, then that really depends on what you define by story-based. So is Baldur's Gate 3 a story-based game? If so, possibly that. I would say the Uncharted series are really, really good. I wish they would bring that back, if I'm honest. But probably the Uncharted series, The Last of Us. I would argue God of War is story-based. I don't know how, like, when you say story-based, like, is that sort of like the Edith Finch sort of game, or is that like where it's like a walking simulator, full story, that's it? Or is it like a game where the story is a prominent feature, i.e. Helldivers, where the story is like it's non-existent, it's not a story per se. I mean, there's like narrative world building, but like I wouldn't say like it's the story like The Last of Us. So I wouldn't interpret it that way. But The Last of Us, Uncharted, BG3, I would argue. Mass Effect has a great story to it. Great story, especially if you think of the overarching theme through all three games. Definitely a contender. Would you count Spider-Man games, I feel like it's very much just rehashing the list I gave earlier, but without the ones that aren't story-based. That's the issue with picking like top games, because they're all different genres, right? They're all different genres. Yeah. They're all very different. I'm trying to think if there are any of the story ones that I've played that come to mind. Oh, Detroit Become Human. That might be up there as the top, if I'm honest, like, because that game is purely just story. But oh my god. That's crazy. That game is crazy good. If you've never played Detroit Become Human, you need to play it. It's so good. It's very heavy rain, very, I guess, like, it's a narrative game, where you make choices, and, you know, it's like a butterfly effect game, I guess. Really great. That's definitely up there. And then finally we got this last question, which I'm so sorry, this is just not going to be a good answer. I was hoping this question would come up earlier on, because it's like the one question of something that I just don't know anything about, and that is by Jack with like 5 K's in the name, 0663. What's your favourite brand of car? Do you drive yourself? I don't drive. I've never needed to, because I live in London, or at least in and around London. Everything's public transport. There's literally no reason to drive. It's way too inconvenient. I would like to learn to drive, but it's expensive. Just to learn. To get a car is even more expensive. So very unlikely for that to ever happen, if I'm honest. Also, I am way too like anxious to drive a car. I would crash it, man. I wouldn't be good at it. I'd panic. I think I'd panic, especially on things like the motorway. Do not put me in charge of a fucking death machine made of metal, like barreling down the motorway at like 60, 70 miles an hour. Like, just nah. We're good here. So no, I don't drive, but it would be cool to drive. If I had to pick a car, look, I don't know shit about cars. I don't follow them. I used to love watching Top Gear. I watched it all the time. Still, no idea. Absolutely no idea. The only thing I can go on is there was an episode of Top Gear I watched many years ago, where there was a car in there, a Bugatti Veyron. That was the car I saw, and I was like, I like that car. Now that car I like. And that's been my kind of car. If someone says to me, what car do you like, or what brand, I'd go Bugatti, probably. That's just my preference of car. I hope that works as an answer. There we go. There's my answer to that question. So hopefully a fine answer. Yeah. So that is the last question, guys. We've done it. We've finished the Q&A. It's only been 2 hours. I've sat here for 2 hours talking. My voice is coarse. Oh, it feels like swallowing razor blades. Actually, it's less that and more like having a cluster of like pebbles in the back of my throat. Oh. So there we go. There's the Q&A over. I hope you enjoyed the answers to the questions. I hope you found them acceptable as answers. I know some of them were, I don't know, I doubted myself that they were very good, but I hope you enjoyed. This is obviously a much longer video. If you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate a like on the video to let me know that you enjoyed. I don't know how many of you will have made it 2 hours in. You may have watched this in parts, or you may have just not even made it this far, but I do appreciate you listening if you are at this point. So consider subscribing if you're not already, and check out the videos appearing on the screen over here. Check them out, go see what's up there, see what video you might enjoy, and I will see you in whatever video comes next, guys.